Okay, all right. So let's get ourselves started, and I'll leave you guys to go ahead and make sure that everyone gets admitted in. But this scene right here that you're looking at right now was right at the end of the entire program that was done yesterday, Friday and Saturday. Dr. Prasad and David Nemelka did an amazing job outlining facts and details about microdaily products. We were hearing directly from Dr. Prasad some of his thinking, things that we hear on this program on the weekend also. But I think it just has a different feel when you're right there in this man's presence and able to ask questions to him directly. While you're sitting down in a very relaxed setting, and there you see him right in the middle of the entire group. I think he was actually sitting in a chair, but it looks like he's kind of kneeling down. But I think he was sitting in a chair, and right behind, over his left shoulder, that's his son. And all I'm going to say to you now is that his son's name is Dr. Prasad. So that's about as strong a hint as I can throw out there right now. So his son is brilliant. He's a medical doctor, pathologist. He was in the laboratory with Dr. Prasad from the time he was an infant. And that's a big deal. And those are some seriously strong hints. He personally met Dr. Linus Pauling. So you're seeing a serious legacy right there in front of our eyes. And we were all just excited to be there and to hear them and to hear the enthusiasm that David Nemelka has about the future. But let's talk a little bit about blood cancer. Dr. Prasad warned me last week that he would not be available today for this program, but we captured a lot of his remarks from last week. But I think the thing that you need to hear the most is going to be the story that Jeff shared with us about his father, and that Dr. Gregerson shared about her family members and their live blood cell analysis. I think that's the part that you want to hear the most. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to just kind of blow through our slides a little bit and just give us some of the background, some of the overview that Dr. Prasad shared with us last week when it came to this blood cancer. Much of it is still very much over my head, so I'm not making any claims to you guys that I fully understand all the details of blood cancer. I've been reading a lot about it, been doing a lot of research on it, but it doesn't come off my head the way it does Dr. Prasad. But my screen just went, and my apologies again. I have no idea why I'm not able to see things. But what I'm going to do is we're going to go right real quick through some of the things that Dr. Prasad discussed with us last week. But the main thing is I want to get to that part where we talk about the testimonials where Jeff shares with us. So here we go. Just buckle up, and then I'll come back in again and give you a further announcement that Bernard is hinting at real strong that you're definitely going to want to mark down and make sure that tomorrow night is on your calendar. Okay, so let me know if you can hear okay.
Before we begin our discussion, before we start talking a little bit to Dr. Prasad, we have to tell you this.
I'm going to play it a little bit fast, all right?
Sunday, and it's September the 8th, 2024, and it's a few minutes after 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The FDA has not evaluated these statements that we're making right now. You're going to be hearing testimonials. Testimonials are pretty anecdotal. Results are atypical. And that simply means that what happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Neither the Healthcare Support Association of America, Engage Global, Dr. Prasad, Jonathan Jones, or any of the authorized representatives, host or co-host, are making claims that the supplements that we talk about will treat or cure any disease state. Only the government can declare a nutritional supplement to be a treatment or cure for a disease. This presentation is for information and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your doctor. We strongly recommend that you seek competent medical advice of professionals that you trust when it comes to your health and your well-being. So that's what we encourage you to do. So that having been said, as you can see, our topic is all about the fact that this month is National Blood Cancer Awareness Month. Seems like every time we look around, there's another month where we need to be made aware of something. And in this case, it's I think it's actually turned out to be a benefit that this month was declared that, because I know me personally, I don't know about you, Bernard or Jeff, but I don't think I would have been taking a closer look at blood cancer if it had not come up on my radar that that's what it was. But here's some of the latest statistics I pulled up, and you can find this online very easy. It doesn't take much to do it, especially with artificial intelligence these days. But in 2003, there was an estimated 184,720 people in the United States diagnosed with some form of blood cancer. And last week, Dr. Prasad helped us to appreciate that they fall into three specific categories: leukemia, lymphoma, or myeloma. So, and these kinds of cancers account for 9.4% of all new blood cancer cases, all new cancer cases. and cancer is still the second leading cause of death in the United States. And as of 2023, 1.63 million people are living with or in remission from some form of blood cancer. Those are just two of the statistics. Here's a couple more. The survival rate is not very good. 5-year survival rate around 87.9%. With acute myeloid leukemia, we're talking about somewhere in the area of 30%. The death rate is still relatively high, 57,380 deaths in the United States in 2023. And leukemia, as you can see, accounted for more than half of those deaths. So what exactly are we talking about with this? Well, last week, Dr. Prasad helped us to understand that when you talk about blood cancer, you're talking about a malignancy that affects the blood cells' ability to function normally. Blood cancers originate in the bone marrow. So when you've got a bone cancer, then you could be knocking on that door. But the bone marrow has a challenge producing healthy, functioning blood cells. And those three main categories, as I mentioned, were leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma. And that all came from the American Cancer Society. Dr. Prasad commented on that last week. So the blood is critically important. There's no question about that. And I don't think we need to go into too many details with that. Dr. Prasad will maybe give us some clarity on this, but it's vital for transporting nutrients and for helping the immune system to respond. So the link between the blood and the immune system is inseparable. White blood cells, those are the keys for fighting infection. And I thought this kind of was interesting. The difference between leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma. They behave differently and have different functions in the blood, but we'll get maybe Dr. Prasad to give us a comment on that so we can try to get that clear. So who exactly is this, the man behind the research and the science? Who is this that is qualified to give us an education or any kind of information having to do with a cancer of this type, any kind of cancer for that matter? Well, it's my pleasure, my privilege to introduce to our discussion now Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad has been around the block a few times. And you'll see from this slide, in fact, if you want to, this is the slide you want to take a picture of. You can just take a screenshot of this one and it tells you everything, because he was the world's first radiation biology PhD, and products that he's formulated have been awarded 10 US patents in various categories of micronutrients. So Dr. Prasad knows a little something about formulating our products. So you're not talking about some college student that has been trained to formulate products. No, you look down to the credential section, you'll see that Dr. Prasad was a professor at University of Colorado School of Medicine for more than 30 years. So this is the professor himself that has formulated these products. So he's eminently qualified to tell us details and facts about how micronutrients play a role in any health matter. Our focus, of course, this month is about blood cancer. So maybe we'll be able to pull out of Dr. Prasad a little bit of the details about the way that cancers are being dealt with today. And then he's going to hone in on exactly how micronutrients can make a difference. Just one other little point that I'd like to point out here about Dr. Prasad. Dr. Prasad was the scientist who discovered that the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. He also discovered that butyric acid is an anti-cancer agent. So this man knows a little something about cancer, and he knows a little something about the gut. And I'm saying that facetiously about a little something. He knows a tremendous amount on the subject. He's already authored some 35 books now, and have been published close to 300 times in peer review publications, with numerous references to his work in PubMed, the official library of published medical documents in the United States. So Dr. Prasad, thank you so much, sir, for joining us and coming into our discussion at this time. We appreciate your support.
Thank you, as usual, Jonathan. I always enjoyed being with you and Engage family. And cancer is one of my favorite topics. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. that might have.
Oh, well,
And
wonderful.
let's do it.
Wonderful. We got quite a bit that we want you to just give us some kind of an overview of things. Right now, I mean, last week we talked about this blood cancer, and you gave us I mean, that was an eye opener, Dr. Prasad, helping us to understand the genesis of blood cancer, how it comes about, how it forms, that whole oncogene thing. That's just mind-boggling, Dr. Prasad. But conventional medicine takes this approach right here. You want to tell us a little bit about the normal way that they deal with cancer?
Yeah. I mean, as you know, that most widely used cancer treatment modalities are chemotherapy and radiation, not only here, but worldwide. And it has increased for most cancer, 5-year survival rate has produced it in most cancer. But the problem of the current therapy, radiation and chemotherapy is that is acute side effects. You feel nauseated, diarrhea, fatigue, and so on during treatment. That's one problem. And this is a real challenge for oncologists to how to reduce it. They
Right.
have no idea how to reduce it. And the second problem is that the late adverse effect, which involves occurrence of the primary tumor initially that you have, occurrence of secondary tumor, which is in a new tumor at the same spot. And third is the occurrence of tumor at a site which is further away from the site of radiation or chemotherapy. So this is very important. And why it happens? Because third is very important one. Because what happens when the cell dies, whether the normal cell dies or cancer cell dies, they produce a lot of toxic chemicals, including pro-inflammatory cytokines. Then they go and affect all over the body. And, for example, if somebody is treating the colon cancer and getting radiation chemotherapy, 10 years, 15 years later, he develops melanoma or brain tumor. It has nothing to do with colon cancer. But this is all because what we call in the bystander effect, means it is not directly related to radiation, but the product of the cell. When they are dying, they produce these kind of last efforts to hurt us. But in any way, so these are the major problems of the current therapy. If you consider, for example, gene therapy, you develop a mutation, but you can develop against mutation only one agent. But cancer cells have many mutations. So this may not be very effective at all. Looks very sexy, that gene therapy, but effectiveness is very little because cancer cell has many mutations, and addressing one mutation at a time is, plus the drug is very toxic as well. There is immunotherapy. The best,
Really?
yeah. And so genetic therapy, it sounds good, but in a therapy and radiation. Only time I tried gene therapy when they said, oh, they have become resistant to chemo and radiation therapy. Let us try gene therapy.
I got you. So, I think this image right here is AI generated, but it was to illustrate this whole thing about genetic profiling and this whole gene therapy thing. So
Yeah,
you're saying that
but
once
the question is, if the cell has, by the time it becomes resistant to radiation and chemotherapy, it has these two agents, chemotherapy and radiation therapy, have induced some more additional mutation.
oh wow.
So suppose one prominent that you think, physician thinks is good, so you will kill them. No question about it. While doing so, but you have only 1/100th or 1,000th of the mutation. So this is looks very attractive hypothesis, but the drug that they use is very toxic, one, and it is not very effective. Maybe not.
My goodness. So Dr. Prasad, this is that's kind of sobering to think that a person could, because I know right now that they're talking about They are right now in the process of producing and running clinical trials for a vaccine, they call it, for cancer.
Vaccine is good. For example, if you intervene earlier, like some people have virus, kids, especially women, have some, not all cancer of viral origin. Some cancer who are of viral origin. Then that virus, you can develop what you call a vaccine against
Yeah.
that. But if virus has already induced mutation, already causes it is a prevention. From prevention point of view, that's a very good strategy. But if the cancer has already developed, induced by virus, it is no more under the control of virus because you have induced a lot of mutation during the process. And therefore, vaccine therapy would be some value where there are few viruses around, because virus is as an initiating agent. So you develop a specific antibody, you can kill them. But once they have formed cancer, virus therapy is not going to be very effective.
So it sounds like if I take these conventional approaches, I'm going to have some benefit, but I could end up chasing my tail, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. And they have, for example, they have produced some survival, but among survivor, those are the risk factor that must be attenuated, must be decreased. And therefore a new approach is needed, which can enhance the effectiveness of radiation therapy and chemotherapy and reduce their toxicity. These are the main goal. If you can achieve this will be phenomenal. And also this area of immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is also good if, suppose if you have a solid tumor, that can be applied only probably for solid tumor.
Right.
Solid tumor. Like melanoma, for example. If you have melanoma and the same melanoma you have, they grind up and produce the antibody, then that's very effective.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a melanoma from other country, other person, then it is not going to be very effective. It is going to be a lot of side effects. So immunotherapy has limited value, but it is non-toxic approach. And if it is done in the right way, like for example, I have a friend here who is a doctor, and actually he's Chase friend. He has melanoma and went to UCSF and grind up his tumor and re-injected the antibody, and then he was cured.
Oh, wow.
So that's a very specific case. But kind of immunotherapy these days they are using it. They are all developing medical drugs,
right,
to be the original tumor. So I'm of the opinion that it is a good approach that you develop this antibody, but has to be your own tumor, not somebody.
I got you. So you really have to have someone that is very, very specific, and that's got to be pretty pricey to be able to do that, right? It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So aside from that, you mentioned earlier that there's tremendous amount of side effects from the normal conventional approach.
Right. There you mentioned it. Fatigue, nausea, hair loss, increased risk of infection. Then you have anxiety, depression, stress because you are going through pain. Pain you have also, and nutritional
I'm going to break
counseling.
in.
But at that time, nutritional support.
I'm going to break in on the discussion right here and fast forward us up to where we get to the testimonial. This part is extremely interesting because of the emotional impact that cancer has and the value of having positive emotional support around a person. But I want to jump right to the testimonial portion of it. And this screenshot right here, I think everyone should have this, because Dr. Prasad summarizes, regardless of what kind of cancer we're talking about, these two things is vitally important. Blocking the uptake of glucose and glutamine to deprive cancer cells of the two things that they need in order to survive. And so that's what that is. So let's go ahead and get right to where Jeff starts sharing the story that we want to hear about his father in particular. Very interesting.
You made a statement about that news that nobody wants to hear, nobody's family wants to hear, because along with that is all the fear, the anxiety. And you talked about the support group that really exists behind those that are going through these procedures. And it hit me right in the
Mhm.
heart,
Oh,
because
yeah.
this situation that I'm going to share with everybody here today is that close to home. I mean, we've been working with Dr. Prasad, the micronutrients, the significance of these products, now going on 10 years. This is our 10th year, Dr. Prasad. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I know.
And when something like this happens, I mean, it's easier to go out there and help everybody else, but when it's your dad, when it's that close to home, it's
Yep.
it takes on a different tone. And so
That's
Dr.
the one you
Prasad,
don't want to lose.
I know, and I'm gonna have to go back several years. This is over 3 years ago. And this was about that time that Dr. Prasad was suggesting these high dose of micronutrient antioxidants, and the formulation had been created. The microdaily EMF uh, had been created, and it was just a natural evolution, a sequence of, let's take this, our very best foundational formula, and triple the dose. Not just go from twice a day to 3 times a day, but to, in Dad's situation, you suggested, Dr. Prasad, that instead of doing 3 capsules in the morning and 3 capsules in the evening, or on the side of the bottle it says take 3 capsules 2 to 3 times per day, you suggested that in a 24-hour period he could take as many as 27 capsules versus just that original 6 or 9.
So nine capsules 3 times a day.
9 capsules 3 times a day. So what I'm going to do, though, is because people say, well, it's easy for you to come up with that story, but let me share the whole family. So Dad's support network was in place, because that very call that you talked about happened as my brother and my father were headed home from the doctor's office. And they called me and said, Jeff, what can we do? Do you think Dr. Prasad has an answer? And so let me go back to the text message so that I'm actually showing it. And Dr. Prasad, I'll just pull you off of the spotlight so that
Yeah.
it's a little larger for everybody. But this is what we faced, and you'll see the text message right here from my brother, the one who was like responsible for the family trust. And so here it is, May 13th. This is 3 years ago. So looking at this, you can see it right there on your screen. It says, and this goes out to all of my siblings. I'm the oldest of 7. It says, sorry for the delay in getting this out to everyone. Dad had an appointment with the doctor on Wednesday. This was originally going to be the first of 3 IVs of gamma globulin, GammaGuard. However, Medicare insurance denied treatment. So we are meeting with the doctor to find out what is next. Quick side note, Dad is coming off the prednisone, down to 1 pill this week and then off. So we met with the doctor, and he didn't have any good news. He has stopped trying to find out why Dad's bone marrow, and I'll advance it here, is not producing what it should. The doctor's suggestion is to have Dad get a shot in his leg every week for who knows. The shot is Nplate. It's supposed to boost his platelet. That's all I know about the shot. After that news, he talked to Dad about how he feels Dad's maker is calling him home, and has talked to us about hospice. Dad does not want to get the shot, and I've asked Jeff to put together a Zoom meeting Friday night, 8:30ish. Dad is going to be on the call. Dad is also trying MMF, original protocol recommended by Dr. Prasad. I'm not sure about the spelling. My feeling is that this is better than what Dr. Frame is coming up with. So I'll leave it there, everyone, and I'm gonna say this is what we did. That evening, that Friday evening, I got together with all my siblings and I shared with them Dr. Gregerson. She had put together some live blood slides, and she actually showed the progress. And so when I shared this information, not only with Dad, but when I shared it as part of that Zoom with my siblings, his support group, it just gave them all kinds of hope. And that's really, you want to be in a place of hope when you're going into these treatments. Well, having Dad been given that diagnosis and there be no hope. So what I'd like to do is go back and just, if I could share this video about the blood slides, the same one. So it's just like, Jonathan, I'm taking your audience through this same process that we were able to empower my dad with hope. The same process that we went through as a family, and as he started this protocol that Dr. Prasad recommended.
Beautiful.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to just share this with everyone, and I'll come back in and I'll share the rest of the story with Dad. But really, really significant when we have this kind of an opportunity. Understand that results may vary. This is just experiences of others, but certainly a lot of hope and benefits from it. Here we go with Dr. Gregerson.
Okay, so I'm a naturopath. I'm in Idaho Falls, Idaho. And a lot of the things that we do is to help people balance their body, because a balanced body heals itself. So we use the microscopic, it's called microscopy, and we look at people's live blood as it's working right then. And then we dry the blood, and the way that the blood dries, different enzymes tells us a lot about what's going on in their body. We can find anything from heart sign to lymphatic problems to absorption, to all kinds of different things that we can see in the blood. It is a proven practice. They've been doing this for years. And you just can't argue with live blood that's right in front of you. And we do it so that people can see the live results right then. Well, my daughter's allergic to the capsules that are on the MicroDaily EMF. We tried opening the capsules, but the allergy is so bad that there was enough frequency from the capsules that she would still have problems, and she would almost go into anaphylaxis even when we emptied it. So I, for a long time, was really pushing to get this hydro product in because I knew how much she needed it. Well, I haven't checked her blood for a long time, but she happened to be here yesterday, and I took her blood, and as her mom, I just started to cry. It's really bad. So put the first two slides on. This is what we saw. The first slide that you will see there is extremely bad EMF. She lives in Oregon, but she works in Boise. They're just right there on the border, and a lot of EMF around her. I've got her stuff protected as much as I can, but it's just not enough with all the towers. And you can see how the blood cells are sticking together. When they do that, when blood goes through your system, so as your blood needs to go through this microcirculation, it has to go through one cell at a time. And if it's not going through one cell at a time, you're not getting the food in or the garbage out. And with it all coagulated, it's really hard to see. So on the first one, you can see the cells are so stuck to each other. There's no way that's getting in her circulation. She has severe autoimmune. She is barely eating. She's really sick. And that's one reason she came in. On the second slide, it's just another view of the same drop of blood. You can see it's all relayed. But the scary thing about that one, which was in the other one too, but they were so stuck together you couldn't see it, is how misshapen every cell is. They look like water bombs. They look like spiked balls in there. Very few of her cells looked normal. Maybe 10% of all of her blood looked like it had looked normal. They all looked like donuts, which is malnutrition, low B vitamins or low iron. They were all misshapen. And it was really scary for me as her mom to see that. Any patient, this would have scared me, but having be my own daughter was really bad. So we gave her 2 of the MicroDailies because I wanted her to try it to see if she could take them now. She tasted it. It didn't bother her. She waited a minute. She drank the whole thing. And 15 minutes later, we checked her blood again because I wanted to see what it would do, never expecting what I'm seeing on this next slide. So here's the after slide. If you look at it, and I mean, I could have taken 15 different pictures of it. You can see the cells are round. They're less stuck together. There's a couple in there that are still stuck, but they're not stuck like they were before. This means that she started getting immediate hydration. She started getting immediate delivery to other parts of her body because it could get into the microcirculation and it could do what our blood's meant to do. So this was all really fun. And I did this while I was doing the call earlier today at 1 o'clock. My Janice does a lot of my blood work, and she was there doing someone else's blood. And on a whim, she decided to see what it would do if.
Where?
Huh?
Oh, keep going.
Okay, so we decided to see what it would do if we dried the blood and see what the differences are, because we didn't think to do that yesterday. So while I was on the call, she was doing that. I walked in as soon as we hung up and she said, look at this. And so put the new slides on, the first one or both. Okay, so the one on the left, I circled it and you can see those white spots in there. That can indicate a major amount of cellular declines. It might, sometimes that shows up as a cancer, major inflammation. It does definitely show a degenerative disease. This lady has been pre-diagnosed by an oncologist with cancer, and she's been coming in for body balancing. So she took it 15 minutes later. We took and did the same slide, and the entire patch of blood on that looks like that second picture, the after. It immediately changed how the blood was drying, even in her body. This is huge because we usually wait 2 to 3 weeks to see any kind of a difference at all. I was in shock that we were able to do that. So I didn't send all the slides, but we did it with 2 other people that were there too, and we're getting the same results. So if this can make that big of a change in your body in 15 minutes, what's it going to do if you're drinking it all day long? If you're taking it every day for the next 10 years, it's got to help all of those degenerative diseases. It's got to help that autoimmune that I've been seeing in the blood. I am so excited to see what this looks like in 24 hours or 48 hours or 2 weeks. I just have never seen results like this as long as I've had my practice.
Wow.
Can I ask you one question? The
Yes.
previous slide, that of your daughter's slides, first slide, the blood cell looks like a before treatment, has a lot of vacuoles. Did you see vacuoles
It did.
there?
Tons of them.
Yeah,
More
right there.
than I've ever seen before, but it wasn't just that, it was the whole slide was
Yeah.
full of.
So that was amazing. There's so much vacuoles there, and then they disappear.
In 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That means that every organ in the body had to be working
Okay.
together in order to do that, because I mean, the blood's going to go through the liver, it's going to go through a lot of places from the time it hits the stomach. So what that's telling me is when it hits your mouth, it immediately is going out sublingually into the body. That's the only way it could have done, is to be
Yeah,
absorbed.
exactly. Absorption is very quick.
Yeah. I mean, it had to have absorbed so fast to get to the liver and to the everything that's cleaning that blood.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Wasn't that fun to kind of watch Dr. Prasad watching Dr. Prasad? Yeah, but I left that in there, Dr. Prasad and Jonathan, just because that's really what gave my dad the hope. And the rest of it, I mean, it's been difficult over the last 10 years to get family to listen to you, it's because your family, they know you. And let me go on though, because that was enough. That was enough information that we decided as a family to just let's go forward with this. And 2 weeks later, Dad had an appointment back with the doctor. So I'm going to go back to the proof here. This is the these are the text messages that my brother sent out, and this is now June 1st. If you recall the dates at the top of the other text messages, it says May 13th. So now we're June 1st, and this is pretty amazing.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there again, just because for the sake of time. But the most amazing part of this was the overall outcome. There's Jeff's father out shopping again, and the family saying that they never thought that they would see that take place again. He didn't live forever, of course, but it turned his blood situation around. And lessons learned with Jeff's dad has been passed on to other people. We've used it with other folks, and we're seeing people with massively low blood count being treated with chemotherapy, radiation, basically see their blood count turn around and go right back in the opposite direction. So it's very exciting to see that something that Dr. Prasad has formulated could make such a huge impact in the life of individuals. So the question that everyone is no doubt wondering is exactly what is this product? How does it work? How can I get it? Very good question. All very good questions, and you have a right to know. The person who invited you here today, they will be able to, they're in the best position to kind of guide you as to what to do and how to go about getting the product, how to get yourself on the products, and how to buy it the best way. But there it is. That's Microdaily EMF. That's the one that Dr. Prasad, that Jeff was given to his father. And remember, it was triple doses if a person was dealing with something like abnormal cells and cancer. Triple doses. So you can't go with small doses. Dr. Prasad very strongly believes that the probiotic is important. And I very much agree with him because there's a lot of research out there, especially this bifidobacterium. And there's a lot of strains of this bifidobacteria that is important. But every single disease in our body has a signature, a microbiome signature. So if you have a certain disease, it's actually manifest in the bacteria in your gut. So Dr. Prasad's formula helps pushes the bacterial signature in your gut, the microbiome, in favor of good health. And I remember, this is the man who discovered that there's a particular byproduct of bacteria, the fermentation of bacteria in the gut, that also fights cancer. So he made sure that that component is also added in to this product. So for someone who's fighting cancer, at the very, very minimum, you want this one. It's called the basic bundle. So this is the basic bundle. Make sure you get this one at the very least. And then you want to add on at least 2 more bottles of this. So you want to add on plus 2 bottles of this. The retail price, $163.98. You get it for subscription for $109. And then you also, the 2 extra that you order, you'll get those at the wholesale price also, the discount price. But the very minimum, if a person is fighting cancer, this is the bundle you want. And you want to add at least 2 more bottles of the product, or 2 hydro, whichever one you're using. Add 2 more of them because you're taking triple doses as a minimum. Okay, triple doses if you're fighting abnormal cells. The digestive boost is additional digestive support, anxiety with CBD boost, brain boost, like chemo brain if you're dealing with that. The sleep boost, if you're not sleeping properly at night, you're having a hard time healing. So remember, that is extremely important to make sure that you heal. Let's see here. I'm sorry about that. You can remain muted there. I thought somebody was unmuted, and there it is. I think I hit the wrong one. Okay, and the omega-3 is important for overall good health. For the rest of us who are not fighting cancer, then this is the one you want. You want the Core 4. You know, for those who are not fighting cancer, you want the Core 4. Focus on this bundle right here. The retail cost for these individual items would be $310. The discount price, if I was buying it as a distributor, would be about $225. But David Nemelka has subsidized this and brought the price down to $199.99. So you can get it cheaper as a bundle. You get it even cheaper than I can buy it for. So go on this bundle right here if you're not fighting cancer, you're just looking for good overall health, this is the best thing that you could add to your diet. And the collagen, not enough can be said about the collagen, except that if you are fighting active cancer, Dr. Prasad recommends that you not take the collagen. So keep that out. So again, this is the bundle to focus on for those who are fighting cancer. This is the one to focus on if you have normal health like me, and you can add in the other boost products to that. Okay, so just get back to the person who invited you, and they will help you to make a decision about which one, how to get the product and get started on the product. Now, Bernard alluded to this earlier in our discussion, and everybody was chomping at the bit and wanted to say as much as they could about this. There's a new product being launched, and we're not going to leak it, Bernard. And I'm not going to tell them that you were the one that sent me that picture of the bottle there in the background with that gold seal on it there. I'm not going to tell anybody that you were the one that sent that to me. Maybe you talked your wife out of it, whatever, but we saw it. We heard all about it. I nearly jumped out of my skin. And the statement that you see, take a screenshot of this, folks. The statement that you see there, that is 100% how I feel right there. I do believe that this is going to be the most impactful product that we have ever had that we add to Micro Daily. I believe that because remember,
Jonathan, David said, tomorrow we're going for record breakers with getting as many on Zoom as possible.
you got to get them there.
Hear this, and I will tell you this. I'm
Yep.
a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for 30 years. When I heard about this product, I was so blown away. And you're going to hear
That's
some
what I'm trying to
details
say.
about it that I promise you there are certain people that's been going through some things that tomorrow night is going to be a you have got to be kidding me moment because the product
That's
that's going to be released is a one of a kind product. There's no other one in the world like it. And you're here. They made sure that there was nothing like it.
That's
So you
exactly right.
be here.
And Bernard, I think that just to emphasize that, we heard it this past weekend over and over and over again, how many of these products now have patents on them. Because Dr. Prasad is so brilliant, he comes up with unique formulas that no one has ever produced. I look back at my database and I did some searching to try to find, I can't begin to tell you how many clients we had that for whatever reason, Micro Daily wasn't quite cutting the mustard for their particular issue. This knocks it out the park. So I think this is going to have a huge impact on everybody. So folks, post this on Facebook, please. Anybody that you care about, you want to have them there tomorrow night. Here's the link is right there. The Zoom link is there. It's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And whatever you have to do to get anyone that you care about on the program tomorrow night, you're going to want them there. And then next week, next Sunday, we still have another program coming up. And Jeff will take care of next week. Everyone has a story. So we'll get to hear from you and your testimonials and everything that you're going through and everything that you'd like to share. This is your time to be able to talk about what you would like to say and all of the impacts that these engaged global products have had on your life. So there we have it. We had some technical difficulties at the very beginning there, folks, but we will not be daunted. We are a team. We work as a team, and one way or the other, we make these programs successful and hope to be able to deal with things for you. So now, if anyone has a question real quick that you would like to ask about something that we discussed today, now is your chance to do that. So speak up, speak now, or forever hold your peace. Now is your chance. If there was something that in particular that you felt that you didn't quite get clear understanding of, this has all been recorded. It was live streamed, so you will be able to play it back again if you would like to. And you want to hear some of the comments. Ed Howard, please go ahead. We missed you, Ed. Oh, Ed can't seem to unmute. I'm so sorry, Ed. You can start typing, and I'll call you later and try to answer your question. Why is Ed not able to unmute? Let's try hitting that button there.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, appreciate the heads up on all this. Yeah, I wasn't able to be there. Really missed it. But anyway, the question I had, any new information on why the collagen is not recommended by Dr. Prasad? Did he make any other comments about it for cancer besides that it can cause metastasize in some cancers? That was the reason, right?
In some cancers, he said it actually can add add it can become like a food for the cancer. Now, I'm going to just tell you from my personal opinion, I do not discount anything that Dr. Prasad says. I don't discount anything that because he knows far more than I do. But I'm going to tell you from the field, okay, from the field, our observations have been many clients that didn't get the memo have been taking the collagen along with a microdaily and getting the same results. They're getting outstanding results because the microdaily is so powerful, it chokes off the two feeding mechanisms of the cancer cells. It blocks the uptake of glucose and blocks the uptake of glutamine. It doesn't care what else is in the system. A person could be sucking on a Slurpee and drinking and getting an IV of sugar right into their body. Doesn't matter because the microdaily, the micronutrients, the antioxidants, is blocking the uptake of glucose and glutamine. So my personal observations have been it's irrelevant, but I'm going to always repeat and inform everyone of what Dr. Prasad's concern has expressed. I hope that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if you had any more information on the cellular mechanism. Did he give you any more information on cellular mechanism of how it actually blocks the glutamine and the sugar uptake? Other than the sugar is utilized in the cancer cells in the cytoplasm, whereas the sugar is utilized in the mitochondria in the regular cell. So obviously you can block it going into the cytoplasm, and
Right.
it still, for normal cells, can get into the mitochondria. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for asking the question. I see there's a couple more questions there. If you guys can let's get one more before we wrap up.
I gotta stop. I gotta stop my. Can you stop my mic? I can't stop my.
There we go. Darlene, go ahead, please.
Hi, I had breast cancer, and from the chemo and radiation, it gave me acute myeloid leukemia, which I just developed in March, 2 years before I turned 63. I'm presently going through chemo, and I wanted to know, they said because I don't take blood transfusion, that it would be hard for me to get a do a bone marrow transplant. It
Right.
has to be 100% blood positive as well as 100% D and protein positive. So I wanted to know if the basic therapy that y'all have would be the best for me right now, and if I should continue to take bone marrow biopsies in order to see where my leukemia is, because according to what everyone is saying, I only have a 5-year life expectancy with this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good, very good question. I'm glad that we slipped you in here. I can tell you this. I could just tell you one story. This gentleman in a very similar situation would not take a blood transfusion. A personal friend of mine, doctor said he had 2 weeks to live, and we put him on a very, very powerful formula, very similar to Dr. Prasad's micro nutrient formulation. And not only did he not die in 2 weeks, his bone marrow, that the doctor said to me personally, that this man's bone marrow would never produce healthy red blood cells again. His blood count went up into the 14s, and he no longer had any symptoms of the leukemia that they had been treating him for. It seemed to just not be there anymore. So I would recommend, and Jeff added this to his father's protocol also, 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, along with the triple doses of microdaily, and you might be very, very surprised at what will happen.
Okay, can you send that to me? Is there a way I can send you my email address? Because right now
Of course.
brain like crazy, and
I
I'm not.
understand. Who invited you?
My aunt invited me, which she lives in Georgia,
Yeah, the
and I
name?
can't. Her name is Elsie Ogletree, but she was invited by someone else that she knows.
Okay,
So
all right.
I invited another person that's on right now. So
I got you. Okay.
it's like one of those type of things. Would you like my email address?
No, I don't want to push it out here on this device. Can you take my email address down?
Sure. I'm ready.
All right. EG.
E as in egg, G as in go.
That's right. And then it's Jonathan E. Jones. JONATHAN
Jonathan. Uh-huh.
E.
E,
Jones.
another E as in egg, Jones.
Correct.
Oh,
.com.
okay. All right. .com.
Yeah, you can send me an
Okay.
email, and then I'll point you in the right direction to make sure you get the correct protocol for this. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And
Nope,
y'all
thank
have
Jonathan,
you.
I believe that was Michelle that invited Elsie. If she's talking about Elsie Robinson, used to be Ogletree.
Okay,
yes,
good.
that's who I'm speaking about.
Yeah, that's Michelle invited.
Perfect. We'll take care of you.
But
We'll
we'll
make sure
make
that
sure
you
we
get
take
connected to the
good
right
care.
person.
Thank you so much. I
All right,
appreciate
you
it.
send the email, and I'll connect you up with all the right people. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. And Leather 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Jonathan, if you would like, because all of these
Hi,
people
good
promised
evening.
them 1 hour, we promised them 1 hour.
Yeah,
If
for those who
anyone
can't stay,
has to go, we
yeah,
really
if anyone needs to go, feel free to drop off. But
Right.
I hate to leave
Hello, good evening.
this might be something important. So go ahead, please. Your name, Leather?
Letha.
Letha, go ahead, please.
Hi, good evening. I'm just
Good evening.
calling on behalf of my niece. My niece have leukemia, and she depends on platelet and blood in order. Her platelet is at 3 and it's not going up. So I'm wondering if your product will do any good for her.
The exact same thing that I just mentioned to the woman just before
Yeah.
has been very, very helpful for people. We can't make medical claims. We can't claim that anything that we do will treat or cure. But when a
Yes.
person adds triple doses, 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses to it daily, we have seen some amazing, amazing things, including improvement in the number of platelets in the body, because the body
Yeah.
knows what to do with this. So many times, and what Dr. Prasad has indicated is that these deficiencies in the bone marrow is because of a lack of proper micronutrients. And so by
Okay.
adding high amounts of it in there, the bone marrow has been able to do what was otherwise said impossible to do. So I would highly recommend going in that direction. All right. So triple doses, not the standard dose, but a
There you
triple dose 3 times a day and 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses.
And Jonathan, just for the sake of
Thank
everyone,
you.
Go
just
ahead.
for the sake of
Bernard?
everyone on here,
Thank
remember
you, because she's in the
triple-
hospital like five months now, and she haven't gone out yet, and just because of her low platelets.
Letha,
Her,
that's
yeah.
that do that. You get started with that, and if you want
Yeah.
to, feel free to send me an email, and we'll make sure that you get a clear protocol on that. All right.
Yes, I'll just ask Heather because she's the one that invited me. So I'll just get the other relevant information from her.
Yes, very good, very good.
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you very
No.
much. Bernard, go ahead. Repeat your comment.
Yeah, just for everyone on here, recognize a normal dose of EMF capsules is 3. That's a normal dose. So when he says triple, it's 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening. When you come to your
EMF powder hydro you're talking about?
yeah, we're talking about the EMF, no, we're not, yeah, we're talking about the capsules, the EMF capsules.
Capsules, and that would be 9 capsules in the morning.
That's what I was telling them. 3
Yes.
in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening. And if it came to the original that person was getting, it would be 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. Because everyone was always asking, what's the triple dose? And because we have so many new people on here, And then I ask that question because if you have cancer or anyone having any problems, when you say therapeutic dose, then that's morning, afternoon, evening. A normal dose is morning, evening. But a therapeutic dose is adding a dose in between. We just wanted to be clear on that.
Oh, no, let's make that even clearer. What Jeff said that Dr. Prasad told him was not just adding one extra dose, it's tripling the normal dose. So instead of 3 capsules in the morning, it would be 9 capsules in the morning, 9 capsules at noon, and 9 capsules in the evening. So taking triple the number of doses 3 times a day. So that's a real triple dose. So it's not just taking the extra dose, it's tripling it. If you're taking the original formula, instead of 2 capsules twice a day, you actually would be doing 6 capsules 3 times a day. So 666.
But
So
he
it's
also
really taking
made
it to
the
high
point.
dose.
He also made the point that this is not for a long period of time.
Right.
He said it is until your body is able to overcome whatever it's going through. Then you teeter it down to
Taper it
eventually.
down. Yeah,
Exactly.
taper it down to the
Exactly.
normal dose. That's correct. Yep, very
Right.
good.
So you don't have to do it the rest of your life. That's what
No.
that's what he kind of highlighted on that.
Very, very important. And again, it's okay if a person, for some reason, they can't afford to take it 3 times a day, at the very minimum, take that triple dose twice a day. But if a person is in stage 4, we recommend the 3 times a day. But if you can't, triple it up. 9 capsules in the morning, 9 capsules in the evening at the very minimum, because the product has a 12-hour half-life. After 12 hours, it kind of falls off a cliff. All right, so that's important to keep that in mind.
Right.
And,
That person's in a fight for their life. They're in a fight for their life.
fight for
You
their
can't
life.
take the stuff with you. If you're in 4th stage, 3rd stage, you
Right.
are fighting for your life. And those people are not going to have any problem trying whatever they do to at least have as much quality of life as they can.
Take it seriously. That's right.
Okay.
And Angelique, you had a question or comment? We try to take some of these questions before we wrap up.
I just had a comment
Okay.
that when people they were asking what does the product do? Well, I have a customer, she had breast cancer. The breast cancer went away in 4 months, and she also had leukemia, and she's now, the doctors have already told her she doesn't have any more leukemia. So those 2 cancers went away just taking the Micro Daily.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. And we'd love to have her tell her story at some point. So please make sure you get her on to so we can hear that firsthand.
But make sure this is a disclaimer. This is her experience.
Oh yeah. To folks, and we put the disclaimer out there at the very beginning for folks. Understand that testimonial is purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So these are people just sharing their own personal experiences. And Lether, you have another question?
Yes. Is it okay if she's on the leukemia pill? She's on Clevlet, which is a leukemia pill. Is it
There's
fine to
no-
take the product with it?
No contraindications with any medication. Dr. Prasad,
Okay.
this is just the food that's missing from food. This is not a drug. This is just the
Okay.
food that's missing from our diet, okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you so much for pushing in there and making sure your questions get answered. Ed, you got
No
the last word on
problem.
this.
It was a pleasure.
All right, Ed, you got the
Do you
last
say-
word on this.
Are you saying Jamaicans are pushy?
I'm not saying anything. Ed, go ahead, hurry up. Get your question in, Ed.
Yeah, I just want to give you an update on one of our friends in Bolivia, and he had a brain tumor in the center of his brain. It's a 1.5 years, and he has no trouble at all. He took up to 4 doses of hydro the last month. He started in July the 15th, and he ended December the 15th, his treatment. Nothing going on there. Also, we had some other immune system issues with other people, and they have gotten much better. And a few other cancer people, and they've all gotten better, just like just like the other ones have expressed. So thank you very much, Jonathan.
Ed, thank you very much for being pushy and sharing that
No
additional story with us. We need to hear this stuff. And folks came here not because they want to hear me, not because they want to hear Bernard talk. They want to hear Dr. Prasad, and they want to hear these testimonials. And that we know that that's why you're here. And so we're glad that that you came for that, folks.
Jonathan,
Everybody on
Jonathan, may I just say quickly, you have to maybe make a special edition of this one when you edit it, because this particular one, I think is really powerful with the presentation with Jeff and, you know, and along with the testimonials here that we have heard since then. Yeah. So looking forward to that.
So. We'll make sure
Okay.
that this gets out for everybody. The replay is available right now on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Jonathan Jones. You can go there to get the live replay, but we'll edit it to trim it down to make sure that everything is available for everyone. So listen, folks, for the record, my name is Jonathan Jones. It's been my pleasure and privilege to be your host and moderator. Bernard Dean has been a phenomenal co-host. Dr. Picola Roberts, phenomenal co-host, and all the others who step in to help out with this program, because we care. We care about you, and we care about the results that you're getting, and for the folks that you invite to this program. We know that you want to hear if there's something out there that could make a difference in your life or the life of someone that you care about. So I can't emphasize this enough. The number one cause of death in this country is even beyond cancer. It's a terrible, terrible thing. It is connected to so many other serious health issues. Please, folks, make sure you're on the program tomorrow night, where you'll be hearing some information directly from Dr. Prasad, and some information directly from David Nemelka, the owner and CEO of Engage Global. You will not want to miss that, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed if you make it tomorrow night on this special program tomorrow night. So please take a screenshot of this and make sure that you're on the program for tomorrow night. So Bernard and everyone, I'm still in Provo, Utah. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us.
Everybody unmute and thank Jonathan. Unmute and thank Jonathan, please.
Thank
Please.